By the time you're watching this, the 87 Max Hero Pack will be out on FC25, so I thought we'd do a tier list ranking every single hero that is available in this pack. So every single maximum 87 rated hero, there's 47 of them all up. We've got a tier list ranging from S plus at the top, S, A plus A, and then of course the bottom tier being B. Without further ado, let's get into it. For the safest and cheapest FC25 coins, make sure you head on over to u7buy.com and use my code Davis at checkout for 6% off your order. The links are in the description or the pinned comment down below. Now when we're ranking them, we are going to be ranking them in terms of comparing them to others. So the S plus tiers will be the best possible pulls and the B tier is going to be the worst possible pulls. Starting off pretty underwhelming with a Noor, a newly added hero, and I'm going to be putting him into the B tier. The reason behind it, hey, you might find him usable, that's fine. In fact, I think all of these max 87 heroes, every single one of them is going to be usable to a degree, but in terms of opening your pack, you do not want to see a Noor. There's some gold cards that you could pick up for 10 or 15k that are just as good, if not better than him. Tim Howard, now I'm actually inclined to put him into the lower tier as well, because you do not want to see a hero goalkeeper, but at the same time, it's a Premier League goalkeeper, and he's going to help with chemistry, because heroes contribute towards their league. And you'll also, I think you'll get more usability out of a Tim Howard than you will a Noor. So I'll put him into the A tier, still obviously relatively low, but it's one of those ones where you'd put into the team and he'd get minutes for lots of people, because that's your goalkeeper sorted for the foreseeable future. Saeed Al Owairan is obviously going to be going into the S plus tier. He's an absolute glitch. He's got the inside forward plus. I think is that the rapid playstyle plus? I could be wrong. I think that's the rapid. Nonetheless, he's going into the S plus. I don't think I have to say too much more. Alex Scott is going to be in the A tier with Tim Howard, and we're going to put Dempsey into the B tier with Noor. Dempsey's just one of them that's a little bit underwhelming, and who will also be joining him is Tim Cahill. Now, I will kind of do the order as well as we go, and I'm pretty satisfied with this order. I might put Alex Scott just ahead of Howard, but yeah, I'd have Cahill, maybe Dempsey over Cahill, then Noor, but don't pay too much attention to the order. If they're in the B tier, they're in the B tier, regardless if they're the top end or the low end. Peter Crouch, man, for the fact he's 6'7", if he had like a power header or a aerial, even an aerial playstyle plus, then I mean power header would be more fitting, because I don't think he needs to jump too much when it comes to aerial, because he is 6'7". But if he had a power header, you know, I'd be wanting him to put him in the A tier. I'll put him in the higher end of the B tier. I mean, it's Peter Crouch, you'll have some fun with him, but yeah, he's not the ideal hero, but it is a lot of fun. And of course, if you want to, you can abuse headers with him, but good luck dribbling with him. That's all I'll say. Next up is Beasley. Beasley I'll actually put into the A tier, but towards the lower end. He can actually play left back as well. He has an alt position of a left back, so I think we'll put him into the A tier. We're yet to have an S or an A plus tier card, and Ricken is definitely not going to be one of them. He's going to be going into the B tier also. I think I'll put him just behind Noor. Like, he's towards the bottom along with Noor. Guti, I think, is the first one that's going to be going into the A plus tier, and Farah Williams, I think, is actually going to be joining him as well. I think this Farah Williams card looks really underrated. I will say the one disappointing thing is her playstyle plus is a flare, but as a box-to-box or a deep-lying playmaker, the Farah Williams is nice. Guti, he's got the incisive pass, which is very nice. The incisive pass, in fact, is probably one of my favorite playstyle pluses this year. Matuidi is going to be going into the S plus tier. Some people may debate S, but for me, he's actually going into the very top, mainly for the fact of that holding plus and the pinged pass play style. Blaze Matuidi, a new hero, going into the S plus. I may change it to an S as we go later on. We'll just have to have a look at some of the other heroes, and yeah, we'll do one big. If you guys aren't familiar with my tier list, we do what I think at the time, and then of course when I have more and more players on the list, I may change a couple players, but for now, I'm happy with Matuidi in the S plus. Jamie Carragher, usable, not great. Put him into the A tier. Yeah, we'll put him into the A tier, maybe behind Scott. Now, I kind of want to do all of the fullbacks together, or all of the left backs, I should say. Now, I think Bompastor and Riise are going to be going into the same tier, but are going to be going into the A plus tier. I think I'd put Guti over both of them, and then I kind of want to put Capdevila in the S tier. I think Capdevila's better than Bompastor or Riise, and I'll say he's better than Guti as well. I think when it comes to Capdevila, what I love about him is the body type. He's 6 foot tall. I think he's got a stocky body type. He's tall. So if you use him as a wingback or a fullback, attacking wingback if you want, but I'd rather a wingback or a fullback to kind of suit his body type, make use of that strength. I'll definitely have him in a tier above Riise and Bompastor. Not to mention he has a normal anticipate playstyle as well, which it's pretty nice. He's got an attacking wingback and wingback player role, so I'd rather him as a wingback than an attacking wingback, as I just said. Smolarek is another S tier card. A little bit disappointing that he's 3-star, but if you can set aside the 3-star, he's a very one-footed player. He's insane. If he was 4-star, I'm telling you now, he'd be like an S+ type of player, man. But yeah, sadly EA wanted to make him 3-star. Park Ji-sung is a really awkward one, so he's either low-end A+ or higher-end A. I feel like I want to move Farah Williams down, you know. I want to move her down to the A tier, I think. And I'll have Park Ji-sung maybe just above her. What I'm really disappointed with Park Ji-sung, sorry, struggling to speak here. Park Ji-sung, stats of a box-to-box. He looks like a box-to-box, but all of his positions is left mid, right mid. So his player roles for the box-to-box will be very simplified and average. So he looks like a box-to-box, but he's not a box-to-box. So it makes a very awkward situation. So we're ranking him as a left mid. He's going into the A tier. Now, if he had an old position of a center mid, then yeah, he'd be A+. Could even debate S, but definitely A+. So I think the fact that he can't play as a centre mid, when his stats scream, use him as a box-to-box centre mid, obviously causes some issues. Ramirez is going into the S+ tier ahead of Matuidi. Al-Jaber is going to be going into the B tier, and we'll put him maybe just above Tim Cahill. But yeah, I think Peter Crouch towards the higher end of the B tier, then Ricken, Noor, Cahill, Al-Jaber towards the bottom end. Don't pay too much attention to the bottom, like the order of the bottom 4 or 5. But all I know is I'd rather Peter Crouch than everyone in the B tier, but I'd rather everyone in the A tier than Peter Crouch. Ledley King, I want to put into the S tier. Yeah, I want to put him into the S tier. I think I'll put him maybe just behind Smolarek, but he's got Anticipate Playstyle Plus, Premier League Centre Back, Happy Days. That's a Premier League Centre Back that will make many people's teams. Dudek will put just behind Tim Howard. Once again, the same thing of it's a goalkeeper, you'll get used. It is boring though. Govu is going into the highest end of the S tier. I could even debate an S+, but I'll take a Matuidi, Ramirez, and Saeed Al Owairan over a Govu. So I'll keep Govu in the S tier, but the very highest end of the S tier. Coit next up. I think Coit goes into the A tier, and we'll put him above Park Ji-sung. Riise as well is also going to be going into the A tier, and I'll put him towards the higher end of the A tier because of that incisive playstyle plus. Landon Donovan. Now that's a tricky one, you know. He's definitely not B tier. I wouldn't say he's A+ tier. So he's in the mid-range of the A tier, I think. I'd rather him than Park Ji-sung, and I don't know if I'd rather him than Coit or not. Kind of want to put him towards the top end of the A tier, man. Maybe move Farah Williams up a little bit as well. Mostovoy, the fact he's 4-star, 5-star with a technical is saving him from the B tier. So I'm going to be putting him into the A tier, and I'll actually put him above Alex Scott. Yeah, I'll put him above Alex Scott and just kind of in the area of Park Ji-sung and Coit. Freddie Ljungberg. Now, I love Ljungberg. In fact, I'm using him in my team. I'm staring at him on my screen right now. I'm using him as my left mid in a 4-1-3-2. I use him as a wide playmaker / inside forward. It depends how I'm rocking the formation at the time. But I like him quite a bit, especially with, dare I say it, the L1 speed boost. Awfully overpowered on the game. But he's also got the rapid. So the rapid mixed with that speed boost down the wings, very nice. I will say his shooting can be a little bit underwhelming at times, but all in all, Ljungberg is definitely going to be at the top end of the A tier. Kanu, can you believe it? 6'5" or 6'6", similar to Peter Crouch. I'm going to put him at the highest end of the B. Yeah, the higher end of the B. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'll put in the lower end of the A tier, maybe just above Beasley. Julie, very similar to Ljungberg. So I'm actually going to put Julie kind of towards the top end of the A tier. I'll put him behind Landon Donovan and behind Ljungberg. Robbie Keane is going into the S tier. I'm actually going to put him above Smolarek. Yeah, I'm going to put him above Smaller Rick for sure, definitely. Gorgeous. Now, when I did the pre-hero, the pre-order heroes, the origin heroes tier list, I had her quite low just because she's short, and I'm not a huge fan of short centre backs. Speaking of short centre backs, we've also got Cordoba here to rank, so we'll do him shortly. In fact, we'll do him right after. But Georgie's, I think, is actually the same height than Cordoba, so it's kind of that awkward situation, and it goes for both of Cordoba and Georgie's. You want to pair them, and it is so crucial that you pair them with a centre back that is 6'3", 6'4" to compensate for the height. And you could use Cordoba or Georges as a more ball playing centre back, whilst your other centre back is going to be your actual defender. He's going to stay back, because that way you need to compensate for that height somehow, right? So using them as ball playing centre backs would probably be the way. I think we put Georges into A+, and we're going to put Cordoba into the S, and I'll put him just above Ledley King. Once again, it's one of the situations he's so good in game that the aerial duels, just do not get into an aerial duel, pair him. In fact, I'll even put him above Smaller Rick, pair him with somebody, another centre back that is very tall to make up for it. Hamsik is going to the S+, and I actually want to put him at the higher end, even above Saeed Al Owairan. We've got his beautiful face on the thumbnail. I've already made the thumbnail for this video. We've already got his beautiful face on the thumbnail. They're beautiful mohawk. The very top of the S+ tier. Z Roberto, a card that I have got a lot of experience with this year. I've got his 86 pre-order origin hero. I've played probably over 200 games with him already. And yeah, he's fantastic. He's a left mid, but he can play left back. He can play centre mid. I'm actually using him as a left back, as a wing back. So yeah, and he's doing the job brilliantly there. When I was starting the game, I used him as a box-to-box centre mid, was also fantastic there. He's definitely going to be going into the S+ tier. And I might just put him ahead of Matuidi just for the sake of versatility. You can use him as a winger, you can use him as a box-to-box, you can use him as a left back. So he offers a bit more versatility than Matuidi, but nonetheless, they're both S+ tiers. If you get a Matuidi, a Z Roberto, you're laughing all the way to the bank. Yaya Toure as well, we'll put him in above Ramirez. We'll probably put him in over Saeed Al Owairan as well. Jap Stamwood, now the S+ tier cards are flowing in. Jap Stam, I'm putting into the S+. Some people may say he deserves an S, and I actually want to put him above Matuidi as well. I'm not sure on his price, but last I checked, I think it was like 700,000-800,000 coins. Yeah, I mean, he looks brilliant. He's like, I mean, comparing him to another hero Premier League centre back, it's what, him and Carragher? That may be it, but he's like 10 times better than Carragher. Stam is going into the S+ tier, with McManaman going into the A+ tier. Yeah, behind Guti, I think. Harry, Huell, and Brolin are both going into the S tier. I think we put Brolin maybe just behind Keane, and I think Huell just ahead of Smolarek, but behind Cordoba, I reckon, yeah. Next up is Nakata. Now, Nakata I got from my Foot Champs rewards. I got a base hero pack from my Foot Champs rewards. I went 10 and 5, sorry. We went 10 and 5, we got Nakata. He looks okay. He doesn't look awful, and he's better and more use as a hero than he used to be as an icon. He always used to be a discard, the worst possible icon, but now he's a usable, okay, decent hero. In fact, I want to put him into the top end of the A tier. Yeah, but the top end of the A tier. Could even debate he's unlucky to miss out on the A+ tier, but I think I'll have him in the A tier. He's either low end A+ or high end A. I'll keep him in the A. Campos is going dead last, like genuinely dead last. A 5'7" or 5'8", however tall he is, goalkeeper, one finish shot and it's over. Some people have always Campos has always been my dead last hero when we do tier lists with Campos in it. And some people say, I say some people, I had a comment one time from someone saying, dude, I'm clueless, I just have to use him. And he'll be, no, you're not using a 5'7" goalkeeper in game. If you go into a Foot Champs game, let's say you're 9 and 4, or you're let's say you're 10 and 4, yeah, 10 and 4, final game, you need to win for 11 wins, rank 3. If you have a Campos in goal and you're playing someone at that, 9 to 11 win level in Foot Champs finals, one finish shot top bins and it is over for you. Campos is the dead last. If you get Campos, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Also, I do want to mention, I know that you guys can't see Alex Scott and Carragher to Monster Voice, right? Because once there's lots of players, it all can't fit into the image. But of course, as always, when we end it, we'll go over the tier list. I'll remove my webcam. You guys will see the full tier list. So yeah, you can't see Scott and Carragher in the A tier who are just hiding behind my webcam. But yeah, anyways, Marquisio, next up, Marquisio is going into either the very top of the S or the S+. I think I'm putting him into the S+. I'm actually going to put him above Z Roberto. I'm going to move Stam above Z Roberto. Yeah, I like this order. Marquisio into the S+ tier. Maybe below Stam. Yeah, maybe below Stam, but in the S+ tier nonetheless. Berbatov is going to be going into the A tier. He's kind of with the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, bit of a tongue twister that name. The thing is with Berbatov, man, so good IRL, and I think his card is very disappointing. His card does not reflect how good he is in real life. Rui Costa, or how good he was, I should say. Rui Costa, we're going to be putting into the A tier, and we'll kind of just put him above Alex Scott and Carragher. We got some moving to do as well. I'll probably move Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Berbatov. Carragher deserves to be kind of towards the bottom end of it. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, is, I was going to say Ashley Cole, Joe Cole. I always get them mixed up, is Joe Cole. And for me, this is a pretty obvious S tier card. It's just about where in the S tier, and I think we'd put him just in this area here, but I don't know if I want to put him ahead of Cordoba or not. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have a little bit of a brainstorm. I'm going to sort this order out, and then we'll go over the final product. So the finished product, I actually didn't change too much. Now, I did move Yaya Toure ahead of Hamsik in the S+. Otherwise, I didn't touch the S+ at all. Z Roberto and Matuidi is a great debate, but I just think because of Z Roberto's alt positions, more versatility, more options, but nonetheless, if you get any player in the S+, any player in the S tier even, of course you'll be buzzing. You've got Govu, Keane making up the higher end of the S tier, and we actually moved Cordoba ahead of Brolin. We got Joe Cole, Kjol, Smolarek, Ledley King, and Capdevila towards the lower end. In the A+ tier, you've got Guti, McManaman. We moved Georges up a little bit. She's 5'8", and I think, hey, she's just like a Cordoba, but maybe not quite as good. She's got the Anticipate Playstyle Plus, which is very nice, but I think we were too harsh putting her towards the lower end, so we moved her up ahead of both Bompastor and Riise. In the A tier, we're keeping Nakata in the higher end of the A tier with Ljungberg, Donovan at Julie. We didn't change too much here, but we significantly bumped up Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was quite low in the A tier, so we significantly bumped him up. Farah Williams with Coit, Park Ji-sung, Mostovoy. You can got the Rui Costa, Alex Scott, Berbatov. You've got the two Premier League goalkeepers, whoever, you know, you'll get some use out of them. And we do actually have him above Beasley and Jamie Carragher towards the lower end of the A tier. The B tier we didn't touch at all. I have Kanu and Peter Crouch towards the higher end for the simple fact, and you could even debate Peter Crouch over Kanu. It really does not matter. But they're both, you know, really tall. Like if they weren't as tall, then you'd have less options with them. They cannot really dribble, but they're strong, they're tall, and they're quote unquote fun. So you'd get more usability and fun, and you'd score more goals abusing the quote-unquote meta with them. Of course, I don't recommend abusing the meta, but in terms of, you know, ranking them and how you'd use them and usability, I'd say they're more usable than your Tim Cahill nor Al Jabir type of players. Of course, you've then got your Ricken at basically the end, but there's always going to be someone at the end, and it is not Ricken, it is Campos. Campos has got that last spot reserved for every single tier list that I do. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you can get any player in the A+ tier, I'd say it's a W. A tier is kind of like, you know, you'd get usability out of them. B tier is an L. If you get an S tier, obviously that's a dub, and then if you get an S+ tier, you're laughing all the way to the bank. Let me know down below what you guys got, and I'll see you in the next one.